of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways, family, and that you're moving into your own narrative, at least that you've come into the point where you're not accepting any story from anyone, that you do your extra research, that as much as you may be tuning into mainstream media, although I know a lot of you aren't, but you're also just listening to all the different stories, alternative to news especially, and that you're watching different channels like guys who have specialized in weather, and guys who have specialized in certain things, just to get a full picture of what is really going on. Excuse the wind, family. We are in our winter season. It's unavoidable, and I don't shoot inside. So, we're trying to do as much as we can to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the programming, but we apologize for that in advance. And special shout out to our Patreon family. We love you so much for supporting us on that platform. And go ahead and consider supporting the channel, family, either through a love donation through PayPal or through Patreon. And family, also just keep your content creators in your prayers, those people that give you the information, those people that are making videos on YouTube or have blogs or podcasts that are giving you the information that is helping you to reconstruct your life, because the spiritual warfare is very real at this time. And there's an article that I was reading, family, that was talking about how this guy was looking at different countries that have been able to move out of poverty. And he was talking about how it's never aid. And aid has been such a lie to, countries like African countries, where you actually think aid will get you out of a bad situation, or aid will improve your country, or aid will develop your country. And he was basically saying it's not aid that develops a country, but rather it's the wealthy, what has transformed many nations is building that wealthy class that was able to put their finances, their ideas, their imagination into their energy, into the country, invest money, build factories, build idea centers, build tech hubs. That's what has changed a lot of countries much faster than a lot of the aid that countries get from the World Banks and the IMFs of this world, which tend to slow down. Ironically, they're supposed to be there to help you develop, but they tend to slow down, a lot of countries' progress, a lot of countries' development, and they actually act as a hindrance, because it's like you keep giving people the energy that they need to generate from themselves to change their own lives. And as long as we're receiving money, then that means we're still trying to implement a foreign agenda in our countries. And that's why we see development aid doesn't work. Because it's foreign ideas that are being told, okay, we're going to give you money for education, but teach this, teach that, do this, do that. And it just messes up the psyche and the culture of our nations. And the book went to, and family, by the way, I wanted to talk about the Mandela effect, because they're changing stories right now. They're changing narratives. The current narrative is so fluid, because this story is something that I saw in The Guardian like 2-3 months ago, and I went looking for it. I couldn't find it anywhere. But I thought it was so important for me to just mention and highlight the fact that even research shows that Africa will not be transformed by any foreign idea, any foreign power, any aid, any money, any secret societies. Those are not the people that are going to transform Africa. The people that are going to transform Africa are the Africans themselves. And that's why we're almost the ones that are constantly held back. That's why they've done a number on all those who could be potential leaders, where they're immediately cloned into Oreos. The people from the upper class and the so-called middle class family, they're sent abroad. They seem to think Europe is better than Africa. They've totally become desensitized and deculturalized from their people, and they just come and try and implement the Babylon system, and it never works. But Africa is going to be changed by you and me, family. Even research shows it. Us getting the resources together, building those pillars. I've talked a lot about the 7 pillars of society: government, religion, education, social services, health, police, all that kind of stuff, entertainment, economics, and did I say media? Okay, in case I didn't say media, that's the one. But all of these family govern societies. This is what they've built the Babylon system on. And then we've been strapped because it's a foreign system. We're never able to feed the system so the system can survive. No African country has been successful or has made it to baller status where their citizens are comfortable through the system. And I know a lot of you will argue, oh, Rwanda is this and Rwanda is Babylon's poster child. Please do your research, family, on who exactly Kagame is. Don't be naive in these streets, man. And the people of Rwanda are suffering. It's just like poster book. And the interesting thing is when you go to different African countries, because I've been watching these like street views where, different YouTubers will go to a certain country and then they'll take a video. Like someone sent me one from Angola. And yeah, someone sent me this video from Angola, and it just showed like the capital city of Angola, and it was beautiful and everything. So when you look at that, like the suffering that the world thinks Africa is suffering is not the reality on the ground. But we are entangled in a system, in a global matrix, a global culture. But we are entangled in a matrix and a global culture that is not for us, that was not in, so we can never make it succeed. It did not come from us. Adopting it has not failed. The system keeps failing us. It keeps putting countries in debt. And it's because these foreign governmental systems are so massive. And it reminds me of a story that I was told when I used to work for the United Nations in Geneva. And, during that time, Kenya was developing this new constitution. And it looked very much like Switzerland. It looked very much like the divided states. But basically, we had to pick, like, whether we would pick, a republic or a constitution or whatever. There's like, you're not defining a new constitution. You're not defining yourselves. But it's like you tick certain boxes that help you to exist within this matrix. So there's nothing new under the sun, under their sun. And I was talking to this professor, and he was talking about how this constitution that we got would it would give us a lot of freedoms as a Kenyan people, but then they made the government structure so big because we have councillors, then we have like 5 layers of governments, each with thousands of people that need to be employed, each corruptly taking from the system. All kinds of things going on. So it's like before we can ever really enjoy our freedom, we'd have to remove these 4 or 5 layers of politics, where we have the members we have a county assembly, a small country like Kenya, which only has 40 million people. We have county assemblies. Then we have the national assemblies. I mean, so much, and it's all to feed this beast. And this has slowed us down, because if we ever want to change the constitution to remove some of these layers of government, we would have to ask the same people. You see how they entrapped us? We'd have to ask the same people to liberate us. We'd have to ask the same people to give away their jobs so that Kenya could change. And in Kenya, family, there is actually a Mau Mau revolution. Well, there will be a Mau Mau revolution, but there is actually a Mau Mau constitution that was taken to the first president of Kenya on the back of this woman. I think I've talked about it before. And it was written on scrolls by 7 seers. That's the constitution Kenya should be demanding back, because this is not it. But it shows you family. And Babylon's own people have researched it and told you that their way is not the way. Their way, their development, their ideas for us don't stick, they don't work. And yet they don't give us the room to create our own ideas. And that's why we should ask ourselves why. Because as long as we are underdeveloped, then we'll sell our raw materials for nothing. We'll sell, the things that fund the world for zero. Certain leadership positions will attract certain corrupt kind of people. And it's just like we're still in their system. But we are the only ones who can change Africa. No savior is coming from nowhere to do nothing. And that's the great thing about this information age, is like so much has been exposed, even about the lie of white savior, white savior complex. So much has been exposed about the exploitation of our people when we think like the refugees are, African refugees are going to Europe, then we're told 20 died when it could have been over 200. We are the change, family. That's all I wanted to say. We are the change. We are the only ones who can change the motherland. And we have to do it from the inside out. I really don't believe, and many people have tried by going through government, by trying to bring in new education systems, by having, human rights organizations and all this stuff in the social services pillar, by creating media that will inform the people. But until there's a consciousness shift, it's all in vain. The change has to happen here. And that's why the most important pillar of all is the religious pillar, family. If we can change the consciousness of our people, then we will change our world. Because research already shows that we are the only ones who will change this. So if we don't do anything to change it, then we're just going to fall with Babylon. And I share this as I wind up to say so much has been done, family, to make us hate our revolutionaries, to make us hate our truth tellers, to make us hate those who think different from us. And yet those are the ones who have come as saviors in this time to save and restore our consciousness. And we must each work, because we've all, this Babylon, being exposed to this Babylon is like radiation, has corrupted us all internally in one way or another. And the more you retreat from the cities and stuff, is, you see that corruption, but you also see the corruption in the towns, but you're also now able to address the corruption within yourself. We have to learn how to love one another, family, how to be in awe of our great ones who are here amongst us, how to support them, how to lend a hand. How to even, before we even get to that, how to recognize them. Those that don't fit in the box are our saving grace. And if they're not given space to do what they came here to do what the ancestors and the ancient ones sent them here to do, then a lot of Africa will be doomed. Because I told you, family, time is up. A global reset in the natural world has been declared among our ancestors and our ancient ones, and they're like, whoever needs to fall must fall, will fall. They're not going to do anything anymore. Like, let the people fall, let's start anew. And so anything that you do in the seasons and times that are coming is to save your ass. It's not to save anyone else. It's not for anyone else. It's for yourself. And it will determine where you end up. That's why I keep saying we're in judgment. And judgment is the choices you are making and have made for yourself, family. Until next time. Tuko pamoja. Looking for a conscious community, or for people, who are on their awakening journey, on their transition to an off-grid living in your country, well, we have the solution, family. We're calling it Unity Communities. We get so many emails every week from people who ask if I know of people in their region or people in their city or people in their town who are on a similar kind of journey, who have broken away or are breaking away from the religious psychosis, and they're looking for just people who think the same way in their town, in their city. But more importantly, to give us a community where we feel understood, understood, overstood, where we can bond with people of like mind. And if you feel called to be part of this, definitely email me at drmumbi at drmumbishow.com. Please put your country in the subject line with Unity Communities. Get in touch with me, drmumbi at drmumbishow.com. Unity Communities.
Wake up!